Hey guys, what's up? So the last 81 cards, I believe, in United and Stormwind has been revealed, and it's actually my second time to do a review. So let's just get right on to it. I probably won't say much about all cards, but for some cards, maybe I'll discuss them a bit. So let's start with Demon Hunter. And here we have Felgorger. Draw a Fel spell, reduce its cost by 2. So this is pretty interesting. There are a lot of good Fel spells, and I think they're pushing this with the other legendary that Battle Cry casts all the spells you've played. So this is pretty interesting. You have cards like the rank card, I forgot what it's called, and oh man, let's actually search the Fel cards later, but I think this is pretty good. They're pushing probably a Fel archetype type of Demon Hunter, and I like this card. Oh, I could even give it a rating. I'll probably rate it 4. Actually, I can't give it a rating, sorry. Because I'm not logged in this website out of cards. But anyway, Lion's Frenzy has a tag equal to the number of cards you've drawn this turn. So they're probably trying to push this with the quest line. It's pretty interesting. You could get like a 7-2, an 8-2, or even more. Who knows? This might be good. It might push face, and it's pretty good card. I'll probably rate it a 4 as well. Chaos Leech. Lifesteal deals 3 damage to a minion. Outcast deal 5 instead. So this is also pretty interesting. I think you could do this in like OTK Demon Hunter, although it looks like I-Beam. But the Outcast is deal 5 instead of reducing this to 1. So I'm not sure if you'll put it in OTK DH, but it's a good source of heal. You could easily outcast this card, and you could also discover it from legendary studies. I'll probably rate it a 4 as well. I'm rating everything a 4. I don't know why. Okay, Sigil of Alacrity. So it's another Sigil card. At the start of your next turn, draw a card and reduce its cost by 1. Alright, pretty interesting. They're really pushing for the quest line, I guess, and if the soul fragments don't really cut it for that archetype, this is support for it, so I think it's pretty good. Probably rated a 4 as well. We have Irebound Brute, costs 1 less for each card drawn this turn. Yeah, they're again pushing for the quest line. Wow, I'm rating everything a 4 actually. And you have Fel Barrage, a new Fel spell here. Deal 2 damage to the lowest health enemy twice. Wow! Wow, this is actually good. I'd probably rate this a 5. This is very flexible. Maybe an aggro Demon Hunter in OTK Demon Hunter, this could be pretty good because lowest health, though it most likely will hit minions. But I still think this is pretty good. Like if you're able to clear your opponent's board, this automatically hits face, and that could be huge. Although it's only 4 damage, unless you pair them up with spell damage or arcanists. Who knows? But um, quickly, I'm rating this a 5, but maybe I'm ahead of myself here. Then next we have Metamorphin, Taunt, Battlecry, cast a Fel spell this turn, gain +2/+2. Want to cast potentially 3/4, but not really want to cast. At best, maybe a 2 to cast 3/4 if you don't have a discount from your Fel card. Not a fan, probably rate this a 2 or 3. Next, let's go to Druid. 4 cards here. We have Composting. Give your minions Death Rattle, draw a card. Maybe you could put it in token, but I'm not sure. You don't really want to see this in Big Druid or the Jombray lists. But it is a nature spell. I'll give it a 2. Next we have Vibrant Squirrel. Death Rattle, shuffle 4 Acorns into your deck. When drawn, summon a 2/1 Squirrel. Not a fan, but I'll probably rate it a 3. I'm not sure where you want to put it, if it's another token Druid. It's kind of pretty slow because you have to draw. This has to die and you have to draw the acorns. Probably not so good. Probably also a 2 or 3, sorry. Then a Wicker Claw. After your hero gains attack, this minion gains +2 attack. So if you hero power, it's a 3/4. Not bad, not great. Probably a 3. Maybe in some Beast Druid or Aggro Druid. Who knows? And then we have Sow the Soil. Choose one, give your minions +1 attack, or summon a 2/2 Treant. It's pretty good for one of the effects. It's probably a good card for Token Druid. I'll give it a 4. So no 5 for me yet. I'm pretty picky. Alright, now there's a new hunter card. It has a quest line. Though I don't think in this website we are able to see the quest line, so I'll skip this one for now. I'll come back to it probably later or in another video. We have Leatherworking Kit. After 3 friendly beasts die, draw a beast and give it +1/+1, lose 1 durability. They're really pushing for this sort of beast-centric deck. I'm not a fan as of now. I'll probably give this a 2, but I could be wrong. We have Devouring Swarm. Choose an enemy minion. Your minion attacks it, then return any that died to your hand. Alright, one thing to note is you could discover this from Resizing Pouch. 100%, I think. If you're using it as a hunter card. But right off the bat, I can't think of the synergies of this. We don't have charge minions. Maybe I have death rattle minions. I don't know. But it looks pretty good since it could be discovered from Resizing Pouch. I'll give it a 3. I don't think I'll main deck this. Alright. Next we have Rodent Nest. Rodent Nest. Summon 5/1/1 rats. Pushing Death Rattle, but it's a 4 to cast 2/2. I'm not so sure unless there's a Beast Synergy Beast deck I'm not seeing. Alright, I'll give this a 3. Next we have Aim Shot. Deal 3 damage. Your next hero power deals 2 more damage. Alright, pretty interesting. You could actually draw this from Kodobane, the legendary 5-drop. It will fight for your Mankrik though, but still, this is a total of like 7 damage. Well, 5 extra damage. I like it, but I don't know where to put it, but I'll still rate it a 4 just because it excites me. Then we have Stormwind Piper. Sorry about the ads here. After this minion attacks, give your beast +1/+1. You need to have a board with this. I'm not sure if this is good, unless, again, a beast-centered deck. I'll give this a 2 or 3. Next we have Mage. Wow, there's a legendary here. Battle Cry, Grand Magus Antonidas. Battle Cry, if you've cast a fire spell on each of your last 3 turns, cast 3 fireballs to random enemies. Wow, it looks good. Just cause I see 3 fireballs, I'm gonna give this a 5 without thinking of the deck yet. Seems pretty interesting. I don't know what deck yet, but I'll give this a 5 for now. Then we have Clumsy Courier. Cast the highest cost spell from your hand. I'm assuming it's gonna be random. If you think of the high cost spells, I don't know, it's the cast a random elemental one. I still think that's in standard. I'm not sure with this. I'll give this a 3 for now. Then we have Ignite. Deal 2 damage. Shuffle and Ignite into your deck that deals 1 more damage. Well, I think this goes infinitely. And wow, if it goes infinitely, it's a 5. But if it stops at the next Ignite having not this effect, I'll give it a 3. But if it goes infinitely, you could have a deck that draws constantly. I'll give this a 5 if this goes infinite. Interesting, very interesting. Then you have Sanctum Chandler. After you cast a fire spell, draw a spell. I think you have a lot of fire cards. I'll give this a 4. Even if I haven't seen all the fire cards, but you have Ignite here, and you have this 1-drop here, you have this 0-drop here. I'll give this a 4 without seeing the other cards yet. Then we have Celestial Ink Set. After you spend 5 mana on spells, reduce the cast of a spell in your hand by 5. Wow. Okay, you could do this effect twice. Interesting. I don't know if there's an OTK and standard for this, but I'll give this a 4 for now. We'll come back to it later. Then we have First Flame, a fire spell, 1 to cast. Deal 2 damage to a minion. Add a second flame to your hand. Alright, if it goes infinitely, instant 5, but if it doesn't, I'll give it a 3. Okay? Because you could only kill 2 health minions. You have to change this off something. Anyway, we have Prester's Pyromancer. Battlecry, your next fire spell has spell damage +2. Okay, this is a fire spell. I'll probably give this a 4. Mage might have some pretty good spell damage decks. A spell damage archetype deck to be made from this new expansion. Seems awesome. Right, next we've got Hot Streak. Your next fire spell this turn costs 2 less. I think if you get this at random, it's good, but putting it in a main deck, a lot of space. I'll probably give it 2. Right, next we have Paladin. So Paladin has been one of my favorite classes, but it got nerfed and got nerfed and got nerfed. You don't see it in the meta right now, so let's see. Higher Lord 4 Dragon. After a friendly minion loses Divine Shield, give a minion in your hand +5/+5. They're pushing for hand buff. Not sure if I like it yet. I'll give this a 4. Next we have Catacomb Guard. Lifesteal. Battlecry, deal damage equal to this minion's attack to an enemy minion. Again, they're pushing for hand buff. I think this is pretty good. If this gets buffed, it's a good lifesteal source. I'll give it a 4. Next we have Noble Mount. Give a minion +1/+1 and Divine Shield. When it dies, summon a Warhorse. I forget what a Warhorse is. For now, I can't really say, but I'll probably give it a 3. Next, we have Alliance Bannerman. Draw a minion, give minions your hand +1/+1. Wow, wow. Okay, I like this. I actually like this. You get to buff what you draw. So, card-specific draws are always good. Then the fact that you give them +1/+1, I'll probably give this a 5. Wow, I like this card. Next, we have City Tax, a tradable card. Lifesteal, then deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Wow, it's one-sided. It's like Spirit Lash, but it's one-sided. That is amazing. Wow, you could pair this off with Blood Mage Talnos, and it's tradable if it's like a dead card. I'll give this a 5. Wow, you have pretty good aggro combatant tools here for Paladin. Then we have Blessed Goods. Discover a secret, weapon, or Divine Shield minion. Pretty good. Pretty flexible. I'll give this a 4. Next we go with Priest. Okay, Priest got hit by nerfs, but I still honestly think it's tier 1 or 1.5 at the worst as a class. Let's see the support it gets. We have Void Touched Attendant. 1 to cast, 1/3. Both heroes take 1 extra damage from all sources. Whoa, okay, but we don't have exactly Mind Blast stuff. I'll give this a 4, not knowing what this synergizes with yet. Alright? Next we have Siphene. After you cast a shadow spell, deal 2 damage to each hero. They're pushing the shadow archetype. I like this. I'll probably give this a 4. Next we have Shadow Cloth Needle. After you cast a shadow spell, deal 1 damage to all enemies. They're really pushing for the shadows. I'm sure there's gonna be a pretty good shadow deck. I'll give this a 4 as well. Borderline 5. Next we have Void Shard, Lifesteal, deal 4 damage. Okay, wow. With the Void Touch Attendant plus this, well, it's 5. Yeah, I like this. I'll probably give it a 5. Next we have Twilight the Scepter. If any hero took damage this turn, draw a shadow spell. Oh wow. I'm liking the shadows right now. I'll give this a 5. The next we have Shard of Naru. Wow, silence all enemy minions. Enemy minions, I'll give this a 5. Wow, I think Priest has a lot of pretty good cards. Next we have Rogue. We have Maestra of the Masquerade. You start the game as a different class until you play a Rogue card. So I'm assuming if just as long as this is in your deck. Wow, this is interesting, but I don't know if it's that super good. I'll give this a 4 for now, but who knows, it might be broken, but I don't think so right now. Okay, let's skip the quest line because I don't think it will show. Then we have SI7 Assassin. Costs 1 less for each SI7 card you've played this game. Combo, destroy an enemy minion. So I guess you have to push for your SI7 cards, which I think you'll get support, but unless I see all the synergies, this is a 3 or a 4 for me. Next we have SI7 Extortion, a tradable card. Deal 3 damage to an undamaged character. Interesting, I'll probably give it a 4 as well. Next we have SI7 Informant. Battlecry, gain +1/+1 for each I7 card you play this game. It's like your new Van Cleef. I'll give it a 4. Loan Shark, give your opponent a coin. Death Rattle, you get 2. Pretty interesting. Not sure if it's that great in Standard. In Wild, it may have implications. But I'm reviewing this as a Standard format. I'll probably give this a 3 for now. Then SI7 Operative, rush after this attacks a minion, gains stealth. Pretty interesting. I'll give it a 4. Next we have Shaman. Granite Forgeborn. Battlecry, reduce the cost of elementals in your hand and deck by 1. Wow. Okay, right off the bat, I'll give this a 5. It's an elemental as well. I think this is a 5 card. Maybe. Next we have Charged Call. Discover a 1-cost minion and summon it. Upgraded for each Overlord card. Overload card you play this game. Wow, I think this has a potential to be a 5. Because if you have a lot of Overlord, sorry, I keep saying Overlord. Overlord cards, get to summon like a random 5, 6, 7 to 10 cost card for 3 mana. Interesting. It's a 4 or a 5 for me. Then we have Auction House Gavel. After a hero attacks, reduce the cost of a Battlecry minion in your hand by 1. Probably in Wild it's good. In Standard it's probably a 3 or a 2. Spirit Alpha, after you play a card with Overload, summon a 2/3 Spirit Wolf with Taunt. It's probably a 4. Depends on what deck. Yeah, you have to build Overload cards, which could be pretty bad if you're focused on an Overload deck right now in Standard. I don't know. Next we have, wow, this is a good card. It's actually Canal Slugger. Rush Lifesteal Overload 1. Probably great in Arena. In Standard, I'm not so sure. I'll give this a 3. Next we have, oh wow, it's card draw. Specific card draw. Investment opportunity, draw an Overload card. I'll give it a 4. Next we have Warlock. Entitled Customer. Battlecry, deal damage equal to your hand size to all other minions. Probably give this a 3. It affects your own minions, so maybe not that great. Dreaded Mount. Give a minion +1/+1 when it dies. Summon an Endless Dread Steed. I'll give this a 2. Then we have Bloodbound Imp. Whenever this attacks, deal 2 damage to your hero. Probably implications in Wild and Standard, I'm not sure. Well, there is the quest line. I'll give this a 3. Okay, let's skip the quest line. Let's go to Warrior. Cowardly Grunt. Death Rattle, summon a minion from your deck. Not sure. Are you pushing for Recruit Minion? Probably Big Minion. I'll give this a 2. Next we have Cargo Guard. At the end of your turn, gain 3 armor. Maybe in controller, it is a pirate. I don't know how it synergizes because I can't see the quest line for Raid the Docks. For now, I'll give this a 3. Then next we have Battlecry, give your hero +2 attack this turn. Again, maybe it's a 4 if you pair it with the quest line. And Harbor's Camp, specific card draw, always good. I'll give this a 4. Then finally, we have a couple of neutral cards. Let's just discuss them quickly. Let's start with the legendary here. Lady Prestor. Transform minions in your deck into random dragons. They keep their original stats and costs. Interesting. I'll give this a 4 because I can't think right now what kind of deck I'd like to play this with. But it looks pretty has potential. Next, you have Cheesemonger. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, add a random spell with the same cost to your hand. Interesting. I'll give this a 4. Probably gonna be an annoying card. It sticks because it has 6 health. Next, you have Nobleman. Battlecry, create a golden copy of a random card in your hand. I'll give this a 4. Enthusiastic Banker, at the end of your turn, store a card from your deck. Death Rattle, add the stored cards from your hand. Interesting card advantage. I'll give this a 4. Next, we have Stockade's Prisoner. Starts dormant. After you play 3 cards, this awakens. 2 to cast. 5/4. I'll give this a 4. Next, we have Goldshire Null. Rush, costs 1 less for each other card in your hand. I'll give this a 4. And Trap Sorceress, Battlecry, if you control a quest, discover a spell. I'll give this a 4. Encumbered Pack Mule. Taunt, when you draw this, add a copy of it to your hand. I'll give this a 4. Wow, I'm getting lazy, I'm sorry. Moorg Forge Fiend. Taunt, Death Rattle, gain 8 armor. Pretty good, I'll give this a 4. You could do this in control decks. It's anti-aggro stuff, although it's 8 to cast. Maybe it synergizes with Big Warrior. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. Next, we have City Architect. Summon 2/0/5 cast walls with Taunt. Pretty annoying card, I'll give this a 4. Lion's Guard, if you have 15 or less health, gain +2/+4 in Taunt, so it's going to be a 6/10 5 drop. Pretty solid. Maybe a 4 or a 5. I don't think I've said any 5 cards, right? Okay, next we have Battleground Battlemaster. Adjacent Min. Wow, okay. This is probably a sleeper card. It's gonna be a 5 for me. You could OTK something with this. Yeah, I'll give this a 5. Interesting. Next we have Stormwind Guard. Taunt, Battlecry, give adjacent minions +1/+1. I'll give this a 4. Tradable spell damage +2. A 3. Draw Librarian. Silence a minion. Probably a 4. Next, we have Stubborn Suspect. Death Rattle, summon a random 3 cost minion. I'll give this a 3. Next, we have Package Runner. Can only attack if you have at least 8 cards in hand. No, I think this is my first one. It's a 1 or a 2 for me. Next, we have Northshire Farmer. Choose a friendly beast. Not a fan. 2. Next, we have a tradable Traveling Merchant. Tradable Battlecry, gain +1/+1 for each other friendly minion you control. Pretty flexible, but I'll give this a 3. Next, we have Deep Run Engineer. Battlecry, discover a mech. It costs 1 less. I don't have idea of all the mechs. I'll give this a 2. And finally, last 3 cards, we have Flores. At the end of your turn, reduce the cost of nature. Wow, this is probably a 4 or a 5. It's a sleeper card, probably good in Druid. And Shaman. Could do some pretty nasty OTKs. Next, you have SI7 Skulker, an SI7 that's neutral. Battlecry, the next card you draw costs 1 less. Interesting. This is probably a 5 for me. I like it. I actually like it. And lastly, you have Stockade's Guard. Battlecry, give a friend. It's a 3, 2 or 3 for me. Okay, guys, that's it. Next video, I'm probably gonna theorycraft or play some new decks. And if you like my videos, please subscribe. And I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.